Hello everybody and welcome back to the Team Cosmic Bodies YouTube channel. I'm Coach Kyle and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about refeeds, kind of the basic info about what is a refeed, why do we do them, and what am I looking for within them. And so yeah, maybe in future videos I'll go more into depth about all that stuff, but this is kind of like the basic video behind it. So what is a refeed? It is a time where you would eat more calories, and that's key, is the calories. Usually we do it through carbohydrates. I like to raise someone's carbohydrates up, and this is gonna be to about estimated maintenance. So you're gonna be taking someone out of the deficit. And this could be for 24 hours and do a 1-day refeed. It could be for 2 days, it could be for 3 days. If you're going past 3 days of multi-day refeeds, I feel like it's then kind of going into a diet break, which is going to be a future video I talk about. But yeah, we bring up someone's calories, take them out of the deficit to estimated maintenance, give or take. Sometimes I'm a little bit more aggressive with people's refeeds. Sometimes I am a little bit more aggressive on the lower end, sometimes on the higher end, depending on their context or how lean they are. And yeah, that's a big thing. So I guess the first thing to think about is usually people do refeeds when they are in a deficit, right? When they're cutting and eating less, whether it's for a show, whether it's for lifestyle. So in the beginning, if you have more body fat on you, you might not need that, like a refeed right away. The leaner you get, the more often you would need a refeed, or the more time you would need a refeed, meaning it wouldn't just be 24 hours, it might be 72 hours or even 4 days. It could be, it might be 4-day refeed. But yeah, again, as you get closer to like 4 or 5 days of refeeds, it kind of turns into a diet break, as we get closer to the 5-day mark. And so yeah, you're not going to need these refeeds as much when you have more body fat on you, but the leaner you get, the more beneficial these refeeds become physiologically, and you would need it to help you progress forward within, to help metabolism and to help hormonally, cortisol and some of these other hunger signaling stuff. So in the beginning, you might just need a refeed to help psychologically, okay? You do a 24-hour refeed, you get more carbs, you've been dieting for a couple weeks or a few weeks, you're fairly lean, let's say you're not like obese or overweight a lot, but yeah, you're fairly lean and you've been dieting for a little bit. You might need this refeed just for a psychological boost. Okay, yes, more carbs are coming in. Okay, I can stick to the plan a little bit longer. Okay, yeah, this isn't too bad. I get a big carb day and yeah, this is helping me eat a little bit different. Maybe I'm adding in that little bit more carbohydrates that I want. Whether I usually stick to the same carbs that you would eat during prep, so stick to the rice products, stick to the potatoes. But yeah, it's a time when you can fit in a little bit here and there if it's going to help you psychologically. And that's usually just for a 24-hour period. That's what the refeed's gonna help you with, psychologically. If you get into a refeed that's gonna be set, 48, 72 hours and on, then you're gonna start having more of a physiological effect from the refeed, right? So when you are cutting and you're bringing your food down, your body's gonna get stressed. Cortisol is gonna raise, your hunger levels are gonna start telling you that you're hungry and that you need to eat. And so that's a big thing that refeeds help with when people talk about, hey, that cheat meal, that refeed helped you with your fat loss. Because you are eating more and it kind of takes you out of that deficit, so then cortisol can lower a little bit if your cortisol is jacked up because you're stressed, your body's stressed. And so that's what a lot of times it happens with, such as like a whoosh effect, where you might see a crazy new low, or we lose water retention after a 2-day refeed or a 3-day refeed, even a day sometimes. It can help with cortisol. And again, help you with some of your appetite control. help you with your performance in the gym, help you with your recovery. Maybe you get better sleep. Sometimes people drop after refeed just because they're moving more. Subconsciously, you start moving less when you've been cutting and dieting and eating less. So when you get that boost of carbohydrates, hey, you might clean your house today. You might work harder in the gym. And so sometimes you'll see that drop in scale just because your energy expenditure goes up. Sometimes that cortisol goes down, which helps you lose water retention, and you might see a new low weigh-in after a refeed there. Sometimes the scale goes up because I actually fed you enough. Sometimes I do want my athletes to gain weight after a refeed because I'm replenishing those glycogen stores. So right, like I talked about earlier, I'm giving you more carbohydrates usually. Some people can do refeeds with higher fat intake, but I feel that it is more beneficial to use carbohydrates because it's readily available. You're not going to be putting on as much, it's harder for your body to, sorry, there's a bike going by. It's harder for your body to store carbohydrates, especially when you're depleted, and then turn it into fat. You'd have to eat a lot of carbs, especially like carbs and protein. You're not going to be putting on as much body fat compared to if you refeed on a ton of fat. Sometimes you can store some fat. Again, calories matter most, but yeah, we like to do it through carbohydrates. It helps with your performance, like I said, helps with your recovery and your sleep. And again, stuff like cortisol and some of your hunger hormones. So, yeah, sometimes I like people to gain weight because I'm refilling their glycogen stores in their liver and their muscle. So I like to see that scale go up. And I'm taking data during these refeeds, whether it's the beginning of your prep and especially the leaner you get. So the leaner you get, you might start off with doing a refeed every 10 days or every 14 days, and I give you a couple in a row or something like that. And then the leaner you get, if we do it on a weekly basis, you might be doing 6 low days, low carb days, and you might be doing 1 high carb day after that. Then the leaner you get, maybe you move to 5 low days and 2 high days for carb days. And then the leaner you get, you're getting really lean, okay? Then I might move it to 4 low days and 3 high days. Sometimes I'll even have people just do 2 or 3 low days, and they're doing 4 high days in a row because that's how I'm carb cycling them, because they just are so lean and they're just running through this stuff. And then that's when you kind of move into like a reverse diet or a diet break or something like that. But yes, the leaner you get and the less fat you have stored and that you can use as energy, the more insulin sensitive you get, and you get better at nutrient partitioning, and you just need these carbohydrates. You need the glucose outside your cell to help. Everything's screaming for nutrients at this point, for recovery. And so yeah, refeeds, they might slow down a process, right? Like if I tell you I want the scale to go up and you do a refeed and we're slowing down this fat loss and you're not losing 3 pounds a week, but you're losing 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds a week. But in the end, it makes, you're going to come in with a better product in the end. You might be able to stick to the plan long term because I'm giving you refeeds and breaks here and higher food. It's going to help you with your performance, like I said, help you train harder, which means you might keep more muscle in the end. Also, you're just having more calories come in. So again, it might help you with keeping more muscle in the long run. And then of course it's going to help with some of your hormonal things. I time refeeds at certain points, whether it's an off day or deload times, or women after their menstrual cycle, sometimes they're a little bit more insulin sensitive, and I'll give them more carbohydrates when they're done with their time of the month, and they'll utilize the glucose better. One last thing to add about the refeed is during your prep, I'm collecting data on how you're responding to those refeeds. So in the beginning, especially as the leaner you get, and this helps me peak you for your show. So I'm collecting data on how you look, how the scale reacts, and yeah, your energy balance metabolism, how you handle carbs. So a lot of times I am collecting data through these refeeds throughout prep to then help you carb load or look your very best on stage and peak you. So hit that like button and subscribe and comment below if you have any questions about refeeds or any other topics, and I'll get to them.